Okay, so next we have negative f of x. When I put that negative sign out there, what happened?
It flips.
It flips, it goes down. It's called a reflection. Okay, so this is a vertical reflection. That means multiply all the y values by -1 or change the sign of the y value, and that'll make it go upside down. Okay, the last one is if I had like a number in front, like 2f of x. So what did that number in front mean? What did that do? It stretched it like a slope. What if the number was smaller than that? Then it compresses it. Okay, so this is our vertical stretch or compression. So when a is greater than 1, it stretches, and when a is less than 1, but still positive, greater than 0, that's a compression. So a fraction like 1/2, 1/3, 2/3, 3/4, anything like that. And this is written as a. Okay, so the important part to here is that a is greater than 1, it stretches, less than 1 is compressed. So when the number is larger, it gets taller, and when it's smaller, it gets flatter. Okay, and once you're done copying that down, the last thing that I want to draw your attention to is down at the bottom of the page. So you should always perform reflections and stretches / compressions first to find the shape, then any shifts. So please highlight that right here, this part. Reflect, stretch, and compress first, then you perform any shifts. So at the bottom of the page, reflect, stretch, or compress first, and then shift. Okay, on the next slide, on the back side, it says the graph below shows the following points with those straight lines. So I have 4 points, and they're connected by some straight lines. We're going to perform the following transformations and graph them, then describe. So what I like to do is describe first and then perform the transformation, because if I can describe it in words, it's a little bit easier to actually perform that. So what'd you say I do, Diego? How much? So I'm going to write up 3 units for part A. That is my first transformation. And then I just need to move the graph up 3 units. So each of those points is now 3 units higher than it was to begin with. And if I connect them by some lines, it looks like this. And does that look like the same graph, just up 3 units? Yep, then that's your answer. You don't have to draw those little lines in between to show that you're moving up 3 units. I'm only doing that so you don't get lost, or so if you look up there, you can count and see. So if you just went up 3 units and drew the new graph, that's okay, on like a test or a quiz or on your homework or wherever. Okay, on B, can I get someone else to tell me what is that transformation that's happening? To the left 4 units. Why isn't it right? Because my H is opposite. So left 4 units, and then what? Down 1 unit. So I'm actually going to perform these operations at the same time. So I'm going to go left 4 units, and then down 1 unit. So left 4, down 1. So the actual blue graph, does it look like the kind of slanted end? Left 4 and down 1? Yeah, so that's my graph, and that's all you need to do. So those were our first 2 transformations. Next are C and D. What do you mean flip it? What is this transformation in words? Reflection. And we're going to say reflect across which axis? The x-axis. Y would go like this. What I'm looking for is one that goes like that. Okay? So reflect across the x-axis. So in order to graph this, what I need is to change the sign of all of my y values, okay? Okay. So we're going to make a table so we can change all of our y values. And I know my points because they were given to me, and even if I didn't, I could pull them from the graph. So those points are -2, -3, 0, 1, 1, -4, and 3, 2. Now I have to change all of these y values by multiplying by -1. So what is -3 times -1? What is -3 times -1? That is going to be a +3. What about 1 times -1? -1. What about -4? +4 and 2. -2. So these will be each of my new points. So -2, +3, 0, -1, 1, +4, and 3, -2. And if I connect these dots, does that look like a reflection across the x-axis? Yeah, it looks like the graph before, and it's completely opposite. Finally, bless you. On D, what is that transformation? What does that 2 in front tell me? Stretch by how much? By 2. So I'm going to multiply all of my y values by that. Okay. So if I continue my table, now I have 2y. What's -3 times 2? -6. What's 1 times 2? 2. -4 times 2? -8. And 2 times 2 is 4. So here are all of my y values, my new points. Does that look like it's been stretched? It's kind of like when you pull silly putty like this and stretch it out. Yep, silly putty. Okay, we're going to continue on. I'm doing C and D, you're doing A and B. So C, what is that transformation? Help me out. What happens first, second? What are the things that are going on? Stretch by 1/2? Compress. This one is going to be a compression. So compress by 1/2, and then what? Is that the only transformation? Or do I have to move somewhere? Left 1 unit. Yes, I heard that. Thank you. So since I have a compression, I'm going to make a table again. And I'm going to multiply each of my y values by 1/2. So I have -3, 0, 0, 3, and +3, 0. And my y values are all going to be multiplied by 1/2. So what is 0 times 1/2? 0. 0 times 1/2 is 0. What is 3 times 1/2? 1.5, or 3/2. And what's 0 times 1/2? That's 0 again. So here are my new points to graph. Now, I'm going to put those on the graph first, just so I have a new starting point. So I'm at negative 3, 0, 0, 1.5, and positive 3, 0. Will those be my final answers? No. What else do I have to do? Move left 1 unit. Will this be my final answer? Yes. But I like to put those in between points, especially for a stretch or compression, just so that I have a better idea of how to graph them. Whoops. Can't get that side better. So that green graph will be my final graph. Does it look like it's been flattened, like it's been squashed? Yep, so that's the compression, and then I moved left 1 unit. And finally, for D, there's a couple things happening here. What's going on for D? What's that transformation? All of them, huh? Stretched by how much? By 2, then what's happening? Right 2 units, and what else is happening? Up 3 units. And I got the right 2 in there. So, since I have a stretch in there, I'm going to make a table again. You okay back there? Oh, did you do it on A and B? Did you do it on A and B? You could have just drawn an arrow and changed them. Okay, so we're going to make our table one more time. And now we're going to multiply our y values by what number? By 2, because I'm stretching by a factor of 2. So what is 0 times 2? 0. What is 3 times 2? And what is 0 times 2 again? 0 again. So here are the new points that I graph. Are those my final points? No, but I do like to put them in there just so that I have for my in-between. Yes, it does. Yeah. Oh, on my graph. Yeah, it does on yours too. Okay, and what else do I have to do? Go right 2 and up 3. So I'm going to do that all at the same time. Right 2 and up 3. Right 2 and up 3. Right 2 and up 3. So here is my stretched out graph like that, okay? Now we have 3 minutes left. The last 2 are you tries. Since we won't have time to do them, if you do them over the weekend, you can get a bonus stamp for them, okay? So that's the last thing we're doing right now.